if you do the work, if you care enough, those in a position who recognize it will support you. You know, when I wrote my book, I just knew that bookstores in the city of Detroit was just a good store. It's a guy doing good things. You want to put it on their shelves. And it was like, well, it's all right, but come back. I said, all right. I did the next best thing. I said, fuck you, I'm going to open my own bookstore. I mean, this is the mentality that we have to have. Because each and every one of us got a terrible story to tell from our life, from our childhood, that we've seen in our neighborhood. But we've overcome that. We've succeeded past that. That is a success in itself that we've forgotten. And that should fuel us to do what we're supposed to do. You know, some of us adopt this entitlement mentality, like somebody owes us something. Somebody owe you shit, man. You owe somebody else something. Especially those who came before you. Because they laid the foundation. They sacrificed for you to be in this position. How many of y'all are going to connect with that and make that happen for somebody else? Again, some child in this world right now is being cheated an opportunity to be in a position that you're in. You know, whatever profession that you're going to go on after here, you should want to go on with the mentality to allow that child to experience what you experienced. You know, I'm 39 years old. You know, everything that you all experienced, I, for the most part, experienced in prison during my 9 years. You know, I mean, 9 years, you know, average guy, you know, gets associates, bachelor's, etc. That's a long time. You know, I got a friend of mine just came home after doing 20 years. After doing 20 years in prison. He came home hitting the ground running. Why? Because he came home prepared to do what we committed ourselves to do as young men at the age of 19. And that, out of that commitment, it's based upon love. And I cannot emphasize that enough. See, when you love yourself, you love others. Because again, when you see yourself, you see others in you. And they should see that you and them. At the end of the day, we're all human. But we cannot be neglectful to the reality of what separates us, what creates the conditions of where we at. It's white supremacy, it's racism. You know, some of us think that racism is a black problem. It's not a black problem, it's a world problem, it's a human problem. And it's the greatest threat to humanity. It is. Because it creates a social mayhem where we're fighting against each other. Wow, what everybody's talking about now, this 1% that's benefiting from it. That's how they benefit by exploiting us. Now, this is power here with everybody in this room. But how do we utilize that power? By coming together. Putting aside our differences. This is how you neutralize the 1%. But you don't come together on no bullshit though. Come together through honesty. You know, when I see the average white person, I don't see their ancestors, but I'm not fooled what happened. And so it allows us, let's talk about it. Talking about it allows us to become human, become whole. Because no one in this world is perfect. We've all made mistakes, we've all done different things. But out of fear allows us to not reach our greatest potential as human beings. We're denying the world to cherish who we are. Because we're running from who we are. We're afraid. I tell people, there's not a conversation in this world I'm afraid of having. That's the mentality you have to have. And if you're really trying to better yourself, you should want to better others as well. Because if you got it good, and the people around the corner next to you ain't got it good, what you think was going to happen? They're going to be looking their lips at you in a minute, going like, how the fuck can they get what you got? It's just the truth. Doesn't mean that you have to give them what you have, but just be a human. Just be respectful of them. Treat them well. I got a guy, a friend of mine, he's a drug addict. He's been a drug addict probably all 39 years of my life. When I do certain things, come on, Rodney, come ride with me. Come on, Rodney, come help me do this. I don't see a drug addict. I just see human being that's going through problems. On his proudest days, he feels good that his homeboy didn't treat him as a drug dealer or a drug addict. He treated him as a human being, which inspires him because he know he needs to get off of it. He old enough to be my daddy. I don't look like lecture to him. There's folks that know that, but again, if you look at that person, you treat them right, they become your best friend. Because at the end of the whole saying, the people that you pass on the ladder, when you fall down, it's the same people you're going to see again. There's no one in here better than anybody, man. We have to remind ourselves of that. And once we lose sight of that, you fucked. And when you become fucked that mentality, the world becomes even fucked up. Because that's some selfish shit. It's real selfish. When you treat somebody like they nothing. Because they don't have what you have. They don't talk the way you talk. They don't dress the way you dress. What have you done to help them? Because trust and believe, somebody helps you. Whether how big or how small. Everybody in this room has been helped to some degree. Now who are you going to help? Well, everybody in this room got cell phones, right? I got 2. And how many people on your cell phone that you literally can, like, if I need $100, I can call? They ain't gonna give you no bullshit. Like, sure, come get it. That's an important question you should ask yourself every day. Because that'll tell you what type of person you are and the type of person that you're dealing with. If you just got numbers just to go hang out every weekend, just to kick the bobos with, that's a waste of time. That's not nothing solid there, man. When I was in prison, when the average guy wanted to come and talk about what I used to do, and I would say, well, this is what I'm doing now. So I'm not even trying to have that conversation. And when guys would be playing basketball, I'll be up on the other side, up on the rim reading a book. You have to, what is important to you? What are your values? What are your principles? When this book here came out, I didn't have the money. I went to a guy who runs a multi-million-dollar business. It's like a father to me. And I asked him, like, you need the money, man. He wrote the check. Here you go, Yusef. These are the type of relationship that you have to have. It wasn't no exchange there. It wasn't, you had to jump through no hula hoops. He believed in me because I provided him the space to why he should believe in me. You respect what I'm doing. And this is so important, man. So when you look at history, you see those type of relationships. You see those things that comes out of struggle. Because at the end of the day, he knows what I'm doing. And he wants to do the same thing. And he is doing the same thing within his own time frame, with his own process. But more importantly, he sees a guy that's on the front line doing it. So let me help him. Because when I go to the table and meet these folks, I'm not asking for my book to be published. It's published. They're saying, let me further help this guy. Because he's doing things. When I got my first job, after being home like 4 years, I became a Head Start teacher. And I was nervous as hell. The guy coming out of prison, former gang member, about to be a Head Start teacher. Wow. And on the application, actually that famous question, have you ever been convicted of a crime? I said, yeah, I'll discuss upon an interview, I've been home such and such time. Or no, it's been over 10 years since I was convicted. And the lady let me explain what happened. And when I got done explaining it, and I had volunteered there for like a couple months, and she was like, I don't see that same young man here today. I see a different person. And you have the job. I almost jumped up and kissed you. But my character spoke for me. When I got the job and I was there for a few months, the topic of prison came up. And I just felt so compelled to get in this conversation with my coworkers. And one, I'm like, man, you been to prison? You ain't been no damn prison, quit lying. And in State of Michigan, they had this thing called Otis, where you can go type a person's name in. And she wouldn't type my name in, came back, well, you wasn't lying. You was in prison. But again, what does a person been in prison, what does that look like? So again, this is how we deprive ourselves of being able to deal with other people. Because we're looking at other people, folks through third